What's up, guys? Thank you for attending this training. Today, we are going to talk about how to film yourself. Now that you know everything about how to be confident on camera, which minimal equipment you need to get started, and how to get your message across via storytelling and script writing, it's time to film yourself. First, you need to make a checklist of what you're going to bring on your filming day. If you're filming at home, then you still have to make a list so that you don't have to go upstairs and grab things one by one. Examples. Of course, you have your camera, and then you'll have some batteries. Okay, so even if you're just using your phone, you need to have a power. So a backup power. So that will be your batteries or a power bank. All right, so make sure that you have all of these. Another thing that you need is a stabilizer or a tripod. If you have a tripod, go bring that because that's going to make a lot of difference even if you're just shooting static videos like this. So use some sort of stabilizers. If you have a gimbal, that's great. If you can bring a tripod with you, that's actually better. It's always better than doing handheld shots because handheld shots, it could be annoying to your audience. Another thing that people tend to forget are memory cards. So if you have a decent amount of memory on your mobile phone, that's great, but you have to have at least 32 gig, depending on how long your shoot would be. A memory card for your camera, your DSLR camera, or your cinema camera. If you only have a smartphone to use, then you have to have a decent amount of memory in that phone. So let's say you have a 128 gig memory, internal memory on your phone, and yeah, that's fair enough. But if you shoot 4K videos, then that's going to deplete quite easily. Here are some tips on getting better audio. So make sure that you bring a separate external microphone because that's always going to be better than the internal microphone on your camera and your phone. If you're going to position your camera far from yourself or your subject, then you will need a wireless lavalier. I find that Anduer wireless lavalier microphones are pretty good alternative to the higher end ones like Rode. Okay, you can use shotgun mic, you can use the mini shotgun mic. In my case, I have this condenser microphone attached to my phone, and then since I'm just shooting at home, then I also have this dynamic microphone. It's a Samsung dynamic microphone, and it's really good at reducing the sound from the background. Be sure to record a separate audio. That's one more thing. Because if in case your other microphone dies or if it malfunctions, if it has, low quality, then you still have a backup. So you can choose which one to use and sync in post-production. Another thing to look out for is if you're using your phone, then try to explore and check your phone's features. In my case, I have this Pro Video feature. It's probably not as good as DSLR cameras, but it does a pretty good job in focusing. At least it has manual focus, so I can make the background a little bit blurry. So go ahead and check that out. If your phone doesn't have a pro feature, then check out the apps. I know for a fact that there are some apps that you can use to get those pro features on your phone. Here are some examples. Filmic Pro for both Android and iOS. ProShot, Moment, but that's only on iOS. And Mavis, also for iPhone or iOS. So, but go ahead, don't limit your options to these examples. Go ahead and check out for yourself and see the reviews first before downloading any app. So some of those are paid and some of them are absolutely free. Go ahead and check out those camera apps that will let you shoot better quality videos and let you have more control on your videos. Next is lighting. So there are two major types of light sources. One is natural light, as we have discussed in the previous lessons. And the next one and the other one is artificial light. So whichever light you are going to use, or you can use both of them, a mix of them, be sure to check out that lesson for guidance on how to use a natural light and artificial lights. So one of the advantages of natural light is of course it's free for everyone to use. But the downside is you can probably not shoot during midday or when the light is too harsh. That's going to cast too harsh shadows on your subject or on yourself. Okay, and use natural light if you are going to shoot just some segments. So it doesn't take, if it doesn't take too long, if it's only going to take a few minutes, then definitely use natural light. If you're planning to do longer takes or shoots and let's say interviews that would take a long time, then you'll have to use artificial lights. So some people use only some ring lights, for example. That can get you started, and you're only doing headshots like these, then definitely get a ring light. But you can also diffuse that. Okay, make sure that you have some whiteboard or you're by let's say a mirror or a white wall. You can use your environment to your advantage. Next up, the rule of thirds. An important thing to master when you're doing or creating videos and you want to look like a pro, even if you're just starting out, is composition. And in that note, the rule of thirds, which is pretty easy to understand. Here's how. According to the rule of thirds, our eyes are naturally drawn to these specific points in the frame, the points where the guidelines intersect. So if you notice in your cameras or even your phone cameras, you will have the guide overlay. You have an option to turn that on. Do that until such time that you already know where to place your subject. And another thing to note is to check for natural lines that lead to your subject. So lead your viewers to your subject. In this case, it's the rail and the horizon. So take note of those, especially if you are shooting outdoors. So if you're teaching something and you're facing the camera, you want your eyes to be aligned on the upper horizontal line. This also gives you a headroom. Here are the types of shots. Here are the types of shots that you would normally use for your videos. Starting with medium shot. This shot is from the waist up and gives us the most natural look, because this is how we usually see other people when we are facing them and we are in a conversation. So normal conversations are best shown through medium shots. Next is the medium close-up, which is from the chest up and gives us a more intimate setting for our character or our subject. These are usually used for reaction shots. Next is the POV, or point of view shot. This is normally used when you'll want to show your subject's perspective. Okay, so your perspective as you were doing something. This type of shot is very effective in letting your viewers or audience feel and judge a situation themselves, or experience the situation and the story themselves from your point of view. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.